Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the PIPCAST, your Pip-Boy supported podcast. This week's episode is brought to you by bugs, and not the kind that you might find in your bed, the kind that you find in your games. Love them, hate them, they exist in everything you'll ever play, and sometimes they just won't go away.
Sometimes they're hilarious.
Sometimes they are hilarious. Sometimes you're happy that they haven't gone away.
Kato's Casualties is a thing.
I was going to say that's totally a prime example of the best bugs ever. There's also that Twitter account, and they post like changelog updates for games that have existed over the past like 10 years, but they're out of context. Mm-hmm. I think I've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
I saw the one today, and I'm pretty sure it was like Gears of War, because it was like prevents the player from doing a Superman flying maneuver while attempting to mantle over cover. Just like, yeah, it sounds
like any cover-based shooter, though.
I was going to say that does sound like... I'm going to say it's Gears of War because I remember a bug like that at one point where people could like fly into the air, and it was like a really big issue in the multiplayer, but who knows what the hell that's from.
It's pretty great.
I'm always like hoping that there'll be a bunch of replies of people like, dude, I remember that game, but no one ever says anything. And I'm all like, damn it. It's the one time I want to know what it is. So that's really the first thing I guess we have to talk about this week with you guys is that there's like a huge bunch of changes and patch-related things for Fallout. Number one, I guess I'll switch the order here, is that the Fallout 4 beta patch over on Steam now includes the creation kit.
Yep.
So you have access to mods directly inside of Fallout 4.
And access to the creation kit if you want to start creating mods. You now have open beta access to that if you have Steam.
Yeah, so if you want to make some really crazy cool things that you couldn't make before for whatever reason, you totally can. I think we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of awesome stuff in the next week or so, probably. I imagine there's people like tonight who are going to be sitting there like, like it's out. I have to make stuff. I know I would be like that if that was my thing.
Yeah, but I do want to mention though too, it's pretty elusive on how to get the creation kit. Like I was looking in the forums, like they have this separate article for it. They're like, oh, the creation kit's now available, but they don't say where to get it. But you go to the Bethesda.net main page, and on the upper right there's a little download icon button. You click on that and it says, want to help us with the beta? And it says download the Bethesda launcher. You get that, and then you can install the creation kit from that launcher.
Pro tip from Kato.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't very clear on that for people who actually wanted it. I guess, I don't know, maybe they thought most people were just looking to play the mods, but...
Yeah, installing the mods is easy.
I was going to say, they told you about the easy part. They're like, this is how you play the beta patch and install the mods. I'm like, well, that's the easy part. Like, it's pretty straightforward, but...
Can I make mention of the trailer, too, where they previewed a horse armor mod?
Wait, what?
Yeah. If you watch the mod creation kit trailer that they put out,
I did not watch that.
They basically poked fun at the community and themselves by previewing one of the mods that was actual like horse armor, but it was the Giddy Up Buttercup, like horses all over a suit of power armor.
I think that's the first time they've ever actually poked fun at it, so that's pretty good because it's usually just the community poking fun at it.
I think it's great.
So I'm glad they finally poked fun at it back.
Awesome.
I think that's a positive for them for sure. One of the other things you can do, actually, I would imagine that these things work hand in hand, is that there was also a Fallout 4 unofficial patch made by the same team that made the Fallout 3 unofficial patch. And basically it nukes just about all of the bugs in Fallout 4 for you.
Yep.
Which is just about as fantastic as it can possibly be. So if you're playing on PC and you're having lots of random bugs issues, or you've got some possibly game-breaking ones, chances are they fixed it. And we will have a link to the full patch notes for the unofficial patch, also the place that you can download them right down in the description below. So check it out. If you're playing vanilla or the beta, I think it's definitely worth giving that a go.
If you have the beta, it's the most popular one in there. You can go to the mod menu and
install it from there. From the mods. That's seriously so good, because that was one of the things I liked about like being able to play Fallout or Skyrim inside of Steam, was being able to just go to the Steam Workshop and just instantly add mods. And it's so cool that they're doing that with their own launcher now, because that takes away, you know, I'm sure there'll still be certain things that modders are going to make that are going to require you to like, you know, have the, you know, some of the things we had to do with Skyrim to like access certain mods, but I don't actually know. It's going to be interesting to see if like we don't have to deal with a lot of those weird back end, you know, modifications we had to do for some of the more beefy mods.
Mm-hmm.
like all the Sky SE stuff that you had to tweak in Skyrim, in order to gain access to some of the bigger mods. I don't know if that's going to be the case with the mod launcher. I guess we'll have to find out.
Oh, you mean like the script extender? I think that might still be a thing. I don't know.
Or if that's something they can build in now. I don't know.
Or with the new engine, they took that into consideration. I don't know.
I guess we'll see. It'll be fantastic if it is, because that, like I said, that was my favorite part about the workshop thing was like, I don't know, dude. It's like I'm not lazy, but when you like go to play Skyrim or Fallout 4 in this case with all these mods, you just want to like start slapping mods in, and if they don't work, you want to be able to pull them out. You don't have to spend like an extra hour like reorganizing folders and
like having a master data folder backed up. It's like 20 extra gigs of not needed, it's just or not needed extra space taken up. Yeah.
And like I was saying, it's like I don't know how much of them is just them doing this, but I think this is the first time that like the development of a console game alongside of a PC version has possibly positively influenced something. Because I feel like a lot of these systems were definitely like, well, we have to find a way to make this work on console, and if we're going to do it on console, why not make it work on PC as well? Because they could have very well have just, if they didn't have to worry about console mods, they could have just did exactly that. Like,
right.
People can make mods and that's it. Like, put them in the game yourself.
Yeah, but they wanted to make it a universal thing, and that's it. Man, that is noble.
Yeah, I dig that.
That's a noble goal.
Speaking of console mods, those of you guys who are only playing on console, mods are going to be coming in May for Xbox and in June for PlayStation 4. So awesome. That's not actually too far apart. And yeah, dude, I mean, there hasn't been like serious modding on a console game that I can think of since like Unreal Tournament 3 on PlayStation 4, which should have modding. I know there's like some weird stuff that happens with Minecraft on consoles. But like, anyways, there's not a lot of it. Like, this is gonna be the first serious thing, and that's pretty freaking cool, man. Hopefully that'll pave the way forward for a lot of other developers, pushing for mods on consoles, and hopefully Microsoft and Sony supporting them as well, because that'll just be badass on every single level.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
good.
I guess like and you were already looking through the list over there, right? I mean, it's pretty much just the stuff it's not really stuff that needs the creation kit though. You can see everything, right? Like
this is like I think it's a list of just the things that were made with the creation kit during the closed beta.
During the closed beta, okay, with all the developers,
yeah, because it still has to be okayed by Bethesda. Like it's not like a massive list. It's when I saw it was like 107 mods or something like that.
That's still pretty awesome, man.
Which is going to grow rapidly as of today and yesterday.
107 mods on day one. And I already heard one that I was stoked in. You said there was a camping one, right?
Yeah,
with HD sleeping bags.
With HD sleeping bags.
That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, go look through that list right now. I mean, if you're playing on PC, you should probably, as you're listening to this, you should be downloading the beta update. You should be installing all this stuff, and you should be going to play it.
Somebody already modded in Eddie, the robot companion from New Vegas. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's plenty there, and of course the unofficial patch on the top. So
the game is just going to get so much better from here on out. Like, this is really funny too, because we talked like probably going back 3 months now about how mods are in like a really substantial way. I think, like I said, more substantial than the DLC to bring people back to the game.
Oh, absolutely.
And for me, I'm definitely somebody on the sidelines right now. Like, yeah, I played the Automatron. I ended up buying Wasteland Workshop. But it's like I'm not really into Fallout right now. Like, there's nothing there for me yet apart from survival mode. And this is like, seriously, I'm like, ready to install everything and like start playing again.
But in Fallout 4's case too, like they're giving us a sandbox in a sandbox.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because we have the settlement system now, which is ridiculous. There's so much potential for that.
Oh yeah, dude. The things that people are going to do with that, like with mods, are just going to be insane. I can't even fathom what we're going to see soon with that. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we should probably talk about the Wasteland Workshop DLC. Kato and I kind of wanted to do like a sort of collaborative review for it and kind of talk about what we liked and didn't like about it. I mean, it's $5. I guess we need to start there.
I mean, that's good.
It's only $5, so it's cheap. There's a big part of me that like it didn't end up really. I mean, I kind of expected to not really be that interested in it, but for $5, I was kind of like, yeah, I'll grab it. Like, why not? And
for the amount of stuff that you got, for the amount of stuff that you can actually do with all the all the parts and pieces.
I guess that's the big thing, yeah, is like you get all the parts and pieces.
Setting up an arena.
There was a part of me that was like, I wish they would have just added that stuff in and not charged us for it. But then the other part of me was like, you know, whatever. It was $5. I guess the only thing that disappointed me was I expected more out of like the ability to control the things that you've captured. And you and I kind of talked about this, like, you know, with your cat obsession recently.
Got over 10 now.
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more. And I've already seen like a lot of people talking about how, you know, like their Deathclaw like hasn't killed anything, and then they came back. There was actually a really funny story. The one guy was saying, I remember it was in the comments section for like somebody who was playing the Wasteland Workshop thing, and they said, you know, I don't like it because I have a Deathclaw and he hasn't protected my settlement from anything. He's like, and then the one day I log in, I run, you know, to like a nearby place, and I come back and there's 3 other Deathclaws there, and they've like all killed each other and, you know, started attacking my people. So it was, I was like, no, what I think happened was your Deathclaw escaped, called his people, and was like, save me. And they showed up and tried to murder everyone.
That's pretty great. Yeah. I'm wondering like if there's going to be a scenario where, because the beta wave emitter, like that prevents captured creatures from attacking you and your settlers. I'm wondering if like there was an accidental like destroying their beta wave emitter or something like that when they have just a whole bunch of creatures around.
Yeah, who knows what could have just like happened to cause that.
And of course, you know, creatures going wild again, just murdering everyone. I think it'd be freaking hilarious.
That's the kind of thing that would be just really, yeah, like if, you know, raiders are coming up sabotaging your beta wave emitter and like running away. Mm-hmm. Just kind of destroy it and then leave.
I think that would be fun.
There's people too. The one thing I didn't agree with, a lot of people who like, you know, actual journalism, like, you know, outlet reviews of the DLC marked it as a negative that there wasn't like a story or anything like that. And I was like, well, I don't think anybody expected that. I think like just because Automatron had one, people were expecting it. But it's like, for me, it was like they did the little trailer and I didn't expect anything more than that. It was really just like an assets pack.
Yeah, for what it is, it's a content add-on. Like that's
like here's some stuff
it was established as.
You know, if you want to hook us up with $5, go ahead. And you know, the other side of the coin at this point too is like you could have just very well just not bothered with it, and chances are a lot of that stuff will end up in the game through mods. You know, you'll get like all these cool things. I really appreciate the neon signs, I think, above all else.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like those are one of those things that, like, I liked the little light boxes we had before, but it was way too resource intensive to actually make a sign out of them. Mm-hmm. I started doing it and I'm like, oh, no, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, not enough copper.
I can't farm all these resources. This is absurd. But the neon signs, you know, are just so much more reasonable, and they let you build. Like I, you know, finally able to put that sign in my like hangout pool area of my house on the second floor, you know.
Most definitely. Yeah, I really enjoyed using and abusing all of the concrete like foundation and wall pieces, because all of them except for the doorways can sink into the ground. That is you know, walls included. So you could make an entirely level place with these concrete pieces. It's amazing. And
yeah, I liked the additions, Genesis. And I was super stubborn because like so much of like my structures are already built. So when I considered like going back and like ripping things out to put the new pieces in, I got lazy about it. But
yeah, a lot of people have been seeing it on the stream too. Like I traveled back to back and forth to Fort Genesis several times, and they got to see my Wasteland Workshop settlement in survival mode, which is kind of a double whammy.
I liked using all those pieces for like things that they weren't intended for. Mm-hmm. Like I made like weird barriers and like walkways separating where my automatron or my robot station, building station was.
Yeah.
Kind of like split it up just to make it look like a cool little robot building area. So
there's
having it shoved under a carport like I did before.
The metal and concrete stairs too. They can connect to each other, which I found kind of cool. So you can just make a massively long stairway.
Oh, there you go. Where's Camel? He can build an even higher staircase above his settlement. Yeah, wherever he had that.
I liked that a lot too. But
using the wood ones.
A side note on the Wasteland Workshop thing, I am think I mentioned it to you, Tony, like when it first came out, and a lot of people already saw it on my channel. A lot of people already saw it on my channel. But like within 12 hours of its release, I already had a video up on it, on like how to get started on making your own arena and stuff like that. I'm gonna say I was up for 24 hours straight, but it was definitely worth it. I've been getting some positive feedback on that one. So
Yeah, the video did really well, man. I don't think anybody really put anything out at that point.
no, nobody did. I was surprised. Like,
And I'll be completely honest, it's for anybody who bought Wasteland Workshop purely wanting to do that, there's so much there. It's definitely overwhelming to like try and figure out like where and how to do what you want to do.
yeah, it's
So it's
primarily
like-
just like a quick start thing. Like, this is what you need. This is how you do it. Like, that's basically
So that
what
was,
it was.
I thought that was super
This
helpful,
is where you get
know?
a crap ton of concrete.
Yeah, go farm freaking concrete. That's like, that was my problem again. It was like, a part of me when I saw that was like, if I had just started playing the game, I might be compelled to farm concrete in large quantities. It's like, but now I'm kind of just like,
Yeah. Turns out most,
pass.
especially the caravans, most Wasteland merchants have a bunch of shipments of concrete. Like 300
I wish I
worth.
wasn't broke. I wish I wasn't. Actually, no, my character's not too broke. The problem is I always like get really, worthwhile like weapons to drop, and then they're always too heavy, and so I can't sell them. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna not sell this, even though it's worth like 3,000 caps.
Yeah.
Just come back to it later.
I also found out if you have Automatron installed, and you set up one of your robots to be in a battle, like put them on the arena platform. If they lose, they die.
Like permanently?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So keep that in mind.
That's really sadistic. Then that's kind of like where you send the robots that you really didn't like.
So
Which I don't feel that way about any of my robots. So.
Yeah, do that with the ones you just throw together with your extra junk. Don't use the
so
robot
terrible.
as a companion.
I made you have leftover parts, and now you're going to fight to the death.
Because that's
And if you
what I
die,
used. Yeah, that's what I used in
It'll
the
be
video.
the end of your life.
I used Bot Zerker, and he got destroyed by a bunch of gunners.
Really?
Yeah.
Those damn gunners.
Yep.
That's a shame. I was hoping he would have like tore their legs off or something. Made
I mean,
them
he
into
destroyed a
little
few of them.
trophies.
He
How many
was,
did you put him up against?
5
Oh, damn.
or so, and this was on very hard mode. So like, yeah. He was just getting stunned a whole bunch.
Well, that's weak.
Yeah. But I had
What is he like? You said what did you say? The Bot Zerker?
yeah. He's basically a floating sentry bot torso with 2 shish kebab arms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a really fun combination.
I was gonna say, so he had a pretty good fight going for him. Then melee versus a bunch of firearms based guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad then. He took some with him. That's what matters.
Yep, that he did.
How many can you put? I haven't really messed too much with the fighting stuff, to be honest. How many is there a limit to how many like on each side you can have? Like, can you have multiple robots from your faction?
Yeah, as many as you want. But as soon as they're assigned and they see each other, like they will start fighting.
Oh, they'll fight each other.
Yeah.
So even if you put like gunners in, chances are there'll be like a 3-way death match then.
Oh yeah, gunners will attack everyone.
And so will the robots. Like your robots wouldn't work together.
They would, if they're all either on blue or on red. Like they
Oh,
would
okay.
all-
So it's still color based. Gotcha.
yeah, they
That's
would
what I
all
was
be
just
the same.
wondering.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool then.
Yeah, you can have
Throw together a
team matches.
team of like, oh, dude, somebody needs to do like a YouTube series where it's like UFC, except they have like robots with their own personalities and film like machinima for them backstage.
I still really want a Mr. Butlertron mod.
That's actually going to be
Get
that's
Mr.
like
Butlertron's voice.
that's the nice thing about the DLCs, is like they're adding stuff in which just it creates like trees, like jumping off points for modders. Like, oh, now you have robots with
Yeah.
voices. Like, oh, that's something we can mod.
Yeah, you can mod pretty much anything now too, because like even though I don't know if you would want to because of the amount of pieces you can put on a robot, but like I'm pretty sure that that'll be possible too. Like you can just, make more modifications for the robots as well.
I was gonna say there's got to be somebody out there who's just gonna start going to work on like some of the most famous robot android characters from science fiction history.
Yeah.
RoboCop and that dude from
The
Danger.
Reapers.
I'm sure it'll get insane. I just want somebody to build like a Gundam in Fallout at this point.
That'd be pretty sick.
It would probably be ridiculously difficult.
Or just set
but
up
it
some
would be
power armor to look
fantastic.
like it.
Yeah, that would actually be cool. Just power armor that looks super mecha, even if it's not directly Gundam. Like just make it look, mecha style.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be
we've already
all
got a
over that.
jetpack and everything, so just need, an energy sword or energy scythe or whatever Gundam weapon.
Yeah, just big semi-automatic rifle and an energy sword would be set. Oh, that'd be so cool, man.
You
So
hear that,
fun with
modders? Mr. Butlertron and Gundam.
There you go. That'd be the ultimate. They can fight alongside each other against the Mecha Goliath version of Deathclaw. It'll be like Mecha Godzilla.
That's awesome. And I'm curious about the listeners, like how they've been working with Wasteland Workshop with all the new stuff they've had available. So yeah, if you guys
Yeah, what's been your best throwdown?
have some awesome
How many fights
duels,
have you held?
or just made some really awesome stuff out of the new concrete blocks. I know I have.
That's probably the best like testing area / like sandbox for just seeing ridiculous things happen inside of the Fallout 4 engine is just pitting things against one another and like waiting for ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Can you throw stuff into the arena? Like could you throw grenades or something into the arena while they were fighting?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, if you really want to.
Wait, so they have we have the traps now and stuff, right? Could you potentially build the traps inside of the arena and make
Oh
it
yeah,
part of the
yeah,
arena?
yeah. There's
God. That's fantastic.
my first arena that I set up actually had a bunch of trapdoors, but the enemies moved too fast. And they would like run over the trapdoors while they opened. So like
Oh.
they would kind of like Mario run over gaps, which was disappointing.
They're just pro. They're like
Because I had a bunch of pressure plates. Like it was open underneath, and it had a bunch of pressure plates and a bunch of Tesla traps. So like as soon as somebody hit the bottom, like all the Tesla traps would go off.
Oh god, dude. Speaking of Tesla traps, when when the friggin' Automatron DLC came out and you had to go back to the fort where wow, dude, it's been so long since I played. I'm starting to forget their names.
Fort Hagen.
No, the like castle. Sorry, the castle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you had to go back to the castle to help the Minutemen. They wanted me to like build defenses, and I'm just like, I have no thing, so I just kept building Tesla coils on the ground, like the traps. So that guy sitting at the little radio thing who's talking, his whole thing was just covered with Tesla coils for the sake of getting my defense up, and they're all just like they arc like once and then they're just gone because I would step over them while I was trying to set the wires up. It was so ridiculous.
Yep.
It didn't work.
I try not to use the one-shot traps very often.
Yeah, they're
but,
pretty rubbish.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I like
Especially when you're
the
settlers
new
just
spike traps though are really cool. You haven't
set
tried
them
those
off.
yet.
I haven't messed with any trap stuff. I really need to. Yeah, it'd be fun to mess with the trap stuff. I haven't really screwed with it at all. I guess I don't know. It's like I've gotten to that point where I don't like spending too much time on my settlements, so that's probably the problem. But despite that, I was super impressed with with the amount of stuff that was in Wasteland Workshop.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't dug into it too much. I mean, I feel like I said, it's $5, man. You know.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a couple cups of coffee, just grab it. Like the worst thing that happens is you're like, oh, this is lots of cool stuff, but I'll probably never use it, and you're only out $5, and you supported Bethesda, who's making a game that you most likely enjoy playing.
Well, you get
So at the end of the day,
the disinfectant arch, or no, it's not disinfectant. It's the arch thing that gets rid of your radiation. Like you get that too in the Wasteland Workshop. That's worth it right
that's
there.
actually perfect for survival mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Until you
definitely-
get solar powered.
It's totally worth $5, man. You heal all your radiation sickness in survival mode. It's a one-time fee.
Yeah.
Too bad you can't start like charging random Wastelanders to come use your radiation thing. It's kind of like when you go to theme parks in the summer and they have those stupid aerator things, and they never charge you for it, but they put like a Coke machine inside because they're like, you want to buy some soda while you're getting this free moist, cool air.
Well, you also get the fusion generator too, which is amazing. I know a lot of people that are mass producing the water purifiers are happy with that.
I know, not to downplay like a lot of the reviews that I read, but it seems like everybody who reviewed the Wasteland Workshop negatively isn't anyone who would actually ever use anything in the workshop in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's totally that idea of like, here's a bunch of things, but they're only as useful as you make them out to be.
Yep.
So like, here's all these assets to build something potentially cool, but if you don't twist them and use them, to make anything interesting, then yeah, you're going to feel like you got a bunch of stuff in a box. Not a bunch of really great stuff in a box.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Kato and I both recommend it. He spent a lot more time with it than I have, and I still recommend it because it's just like I said, it's $5, lots of cool stuff, and you get to watch, robots fight Deathclaws. I mean, yeah. Also, and if you want to, those robots die primarily.
And if you want to, holy crap, it's already at 40,000. The Wasteland Workshop video, if you want to look at that, and also my last several streams, I've had been going back several times to the Starlight Drive-In where my Wasteland Workshop place is, and you guys can get a look at it firsthand if you really want to. Cause,
definitely. If you're like
the channel.
Doubtful as to what's there, whether or not something you're interested in, go check out Kato's stuff. We'll have it in the description below and see what's up. And if you really just want to fight things, then go watch his guide because it's the quickest way to do that. It's the quickest way to make those robots that you don't like go die, send them to their deaths.
I did want to say Michael and Scott of Fudge Muppet did a pretty funny video. They turned Spectacle Island basically into Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's so cool.
They just dropped a bunch of Deathclaw cages there.
That's perfect.
And then fed them gunners. It was pretty great.
Fed them gunners. I was gonna say, we just need Chris Pratt to roll in with some Velociraptors and save the day.
Yeah.
Gunners need to call him up.
Need that dirt bike mod though.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'd wonder if we'll ever maybe this will be the time that we get a substantially working vehicle mod for Fallout 4. I just still feel like it's just a matter of the engine not supporting it, but if maybe a month from now I'm driving around in a dune buggy in a mod highlight video on my channel, then I will eat my own words.
I just want to ride a wasteland creature. I'd rather do that.
That's what I was actually thinking about. I was like, what if you could, if somebody made a mod where you could build a robot big enough that it had like you could sit on top of its shoulder and like walk around like the Iron Giant.
Yeah, like either the Iron Giant type thing or like ride a Yaoguai, dude.
Riding a Yaoguai.
Or Radstag. They'd be more useful than just meat.
The taming mod for the taming expansion for Fallout 4.
I mean, yeah, we can already tame them, kind of.
Have you ever wanted to ride a Yaoguai? Or maybe a mole rat.
Oh, jeez, I'd have to get
a mole rat sled.
Mole rat.
Be a mole rat sled, man.
Yeah. It's a bunch of them, just to strap them all together.
The hood of an old car, and you just strap them to the thing and just whip around the wasteland in it.
Or a rad scorpion. Oh, dude. Possibilities.
Rad scorpion would be. I'm just thinking of a movie. Oh, is that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? I think the first one. Where they totally fight off the scorpion on top of the ant that they're like using a piece of cookie to like get it to make them go places for them.
Mm-hmm.
You could just be basic like that. You just get to stick with some food and sit on the rad scorpion and ride it around.
Yep. Just mind the stinger.
It's a good thing we don't design games.
Yeah.
They'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much everything for. Well, actually, that wraps up the second mod, which means we're the second expansion. DLC, which means we're one step closer to Far Harbor.
To Fahaba?
To Fahab. I wasn't going to say it, but I will. I feel like people really didn't like when I say that because that is the only episode of the PIPCAST with more than like one dislike. It has like 7. I feel like everyone was offended by the Fahab thing.
Darn it, the ratio. It's when you screwed up because like you too, like you have some like prime content, so you can really tell like when people don't like what you do.
Yeah, or there's just those like you offended somebody, which usually actually just makes me happy but I think most people enjoyed that. So wait, it's May, right? Is Far Harbor?
Yeah.
So yeah, May's turning out to be a crazy month too. And I guess
a week from now.
That's a good way to segue into the other games discussion, which I removed one game from called Below because we'll talk about that at a later date. Because I actually kind of felt silly talking about it when we still don't have a release date for it. So
yeah, that's true.
We don't have a release date for Pyre either, or Lawbreakers, or Elder Scrolls Legends.
But Pyre's going to be like next year, though.
But they're pretty relevant, so I guess that's what we're talking about. And I think first and foremost, we should talk about Elder Scrolls Legends, which if you guys haven't seen it, I'll have a link down in the description below. They have an official trailer, a gameplay trailer for Elder Scrolls Legends. This, of course, is the TCG from Bethesda. Completely different studio, by the way, working on this. It's actually ZeniMax publishing it. Bethesda isn't actually involved, so I shouldn't say Bethesda. I forget the name of the studio. It's like some small studio who's doing it for them. I mean, first and foremost, if you watch the trailer, it totally is inspired by Hearthstone, but it has a very
dislikes.
different set of thing going for it. Yeah, and speaking of dislikes, so it's like, well, basically the gameplay, I guess I'll describe that to anybody who hasn't seen, is it if you haven't played Hearthstone, it's a 1v1, hero-based TCG. In the case of Elder Scrolls Legend, you actually have 2 lanes in which you can play cards in. You can then attack the cards in the battlefield, or you can attack the player directly. Now, what they're doing with Elder Scrolls Legend is not only do you open packs to collect the cards, you also can level up your cards to make them more effective in battle. So there's a lot of systems there that I think anyone who's familiar with like CCGs and TCGs, like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatever you play, is going to be like, not sure how that'll work out, and that's kind of how I feel. The funny thing, though, is that if you go over to the video, there's not actually people talking about the problems they have with the gameplay, or with, this could go wrong because this you don't really want to do this type of thing in a TCG.
Yeah,
instead it's just a bunch of people just disliking it. And then the funny thing is, most of the comments are people saying, I don't understand why everyone is upset. So a bunch of people disliked the video and then didn't leave a comment as to why they disliked it. And then the comments are literally just loaded with people like, I don't understand, why is everybody disliking this, with a bunch of thumbs up. So I think it's a prime example of the vocal minority at work here. It's actually, they're winning now, though. We've got more likes than dislikes. It's 3,200 to 2,300. That's so terrible,
like almost exactly half. Like
it's so unnecessary. It's beyond belief. It also has a ridiculously low amount of views for anything from Bethesda. So I don't know. It's just funny that so many people think it's, like this guy's comment right here. It's got 419 thumbs up. Just make a new Elder Scrolls game already. Okay, well, it's not the same developer.
Yeah.
It's also not Bethesda. There's a comment that says, careful, Bethesda, your greedy side is showing again. Well, guess what? It's not Bethesda. It's ZeniMax, and ZeniMax is a corporation, and corporations like to make money. At the end of the day, that's just how it is. It's never going to go away. And yes, they saw the opportunity to dive into an ever-growing genre at this point.
I think part of it is like, sorry to cut you off, Tony.
No, go ahead. It's not flooded even, Like everybody acts like, oh, everyone's making card games. It's like, well, not really. Like Magic's been around for 15 years now or something.
It's recent events, I think, partially. Like everybody seems to have a really, really, really short fuse. Like it takes the smallest thing to set people off right now. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of know why. But people are looking for things to be mad at, and because it's something that's similar to something that's going on, even though, MOBAs are a constant thing right now.
Yeah, everybody always says that. People just like
mad.
to make stuff up to be mad, I think.
Fabricated problems.
That's for sure. It would have just been nice to see at least one person actually talking about the friggin' card game. Because I watched the video, and maybe, I'm sane, and I imagine most of the people watching this, you guys out there, are sane. Kato's sane. So the first thing I'm like is, this is interesting. There's 2 lanes. I'm a little bit concerned about, leveling up of cards. And I think that's something that anybody who's played like Hearthstone or Magic seriously is going to probably agree with me in saying, it's already kind of a gap between people who play casually and people who play seriously because of the money they can spend. And then to add the ability to level cards, like level up your cards, kind of like that Crash Royale game does, where you level up your heroes and then you use them in battle.
Like Tetramaster from Final Fantasy IX.
That's kind of a risky thing to do, in like a competitive card game like this. So I don't know. We'll see how it pans out.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I have to say is, despite all of like the audio sound effects and things like that, it doesn't give me that proper Elder Scrolls vibe. And I think that's the thing I really wanted, was I wanted to feel like I was really absorbed in the Elder Scrolls atmosphere. And that's one of the things Hearthstone does really well, is like it has that tavern feel to it. Like you're actually playing in a tavern, you know? It really brings the board to life. Whereas it's clear that this game is taking place on a table and there's some candles nearby, but that's as far as the immersion goes for me. And the fact that it looks like you are possibly playing on a scroll of some sort that kind of like has script on it. But I don't know. I just, I guess I'd like to see more of that. And maybe that'll exist when we see more of the game. But right now, the straight up combat doesn't really showcase that as much as I'd like it to. Mm-hmm. But I'll definitely play it. I signed up for the beta. If you guys are interested in signing up for the beta, they're still taking beta signups. They've already launched some of the beta sign-up stuff. I think it's in closed beta. We'll have a link down in the description below. I mean, it's completely free. Just log into your Bethesda account over on the website, say yes, and you'll potentially get added to the beta. And then you can actually play it and see whether or not you like it for yourself, rather than just assuming you're not going to like it, because sometimes things are free in life to try, and that's wonderful.
Yeah. That's oh, man. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, because I'm not major into card games, but I'll probably give it a shot at least.
It's like I like Hearthstone, but I'm not gonna spend. I'd rather play Heroes of the Storm, to be honest, than play Hearthstone. Like, there's definitely genres I enjoy more than that. I think the thing for me, like when it comes to card games, is like I enjoy physical card games because it's an excuse to get together with people who I don't usually have the time to get together with. Like, that's why Magic is fun. That's why Munchkin is fun.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the same room, we're laughing. We're eating some good food, talking about stuff, and we're playing a game.
That's hard to compare against those, like especially Magic the Gathering, like especially like with me and my roommates.
Yeah, I was gonna say a card game that's been around for
we
over
enjoy
a decade.
the crap out of it, and primarily it's because that all three of us are sitting at the table, three or more of us, in fact, are all sitting at a table and just enjoying ourselves.
That's my one friend who's not like hardcore into games in general. He loves to call it like, he's like, yeah, we gotta do some social gaming. And for him, it's like any moment where we get together and like play something together is social gaming, and he still thinks that's like the craziest thing ever. He's just like
pretty good.
He's a little bit out of touch with like things, but for him, that's like the biggest idea. And I think that's something we all kind of take for granted sometimes. When we get to play games with people. So
yeah.
That's definitely something Hearthstone does really well.
Yeah, speaking of social gaming, I wanted to drop this a little bit. I know I mentioned it to you, Tony. I played the Just Cause 2 multiplayer mod, and they still have a lot of servers out there for people who want to join. Not what you would expect if you haven't tried it, but if you find somebody that likes causing havoc as much as you do in the Just Cause universe, get to bring a friend, and it's kind of fun for a few hours.
Yeah, the mod's free. You can grab Just Cause 2 for like $6 these days.
You can join just about any server on there too. Some of them are passworded, but usually the best ones aren't. So yeah, I'd say go for it.
It's definitely a worthwhile game to check out. That's one of those games is like people like will fall in and out of it, but it always maintains a community, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
There's always people playing that. It's like addictively. So I guess let's move forward. Let's talk about Supergiant Games' next adventure, man.
Oh, yeah.
On from Bastion, on from Transistor, and now it's time for Pyre, which is probably one of the most striking and beautiful games that I've ever seen. Like, that's like the first thing that you notice about Pyre.
That's their thing.
The art style is just like, it tops everything they've done before, and it feels so unique. But the other big part of Pyre, if you guys haven't seen it, is the combat system, which is party-based, but in the weirdest ways. You're essentially playing basketball. It's like magic basketball, and the idea is you want to extinguish the other team's pyre. In order to do that, you need to dunk this, it's basically an orb, into the other team's pyre. And there's like, it uses a respawn system, so each team like sends out their their characters, and if your character gets eliminated by another character's abilities, he goes back to the respawn. He has to like move out again. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and your dudes spawn from your goal. And vice versa, but it looks like it's really cool. It looks like it's real time.
Yeah, it is. It's like
it's not turn based, which makes it a little bit more exciting, I think. But when your dudes are immobile, they have this aura around them that, you know, if the enemy runs into them or the opposing team runs into them, they automatically get kicked out, or get, you know, knocked down for so much time. I don't know. It's like, difficult to explain, but it looks really fun.
Yeah, it looks like one of those games when, like, once people start to play it, you're going to get, like, this weird real-time strategy experience that plays, like, really fast and fluid like a sports game would. Yeah. Like, in a really weird way. And it kind of reminds me of Frozen Synapse, which was legitimately a, like, turn-based, like, football game, like, set in the future in this really weird manner. Like, it reminds me a little bit of that, but again, it's real time. But it has, like, those weird elements where there's, like, you know, your character can, like, block a guy simply by not moving, but then that guy could attack you with a physical attack and knock you out. So
yeah,
it's going to be ridiculous. And that's just the combat, you know? There's, like, so much going on with the story.
The narrative part, yeah. I wanted to mention that, too. It seemed like, I think it was PC Gamer that was interviewing them, I think. I know I sent you the link. I don't remember which one it was. But, yeah, they were interviewing one of the developers of Supergiant Games. And he was like, we wanted to take a different direction. I'm paraphrasing. We wanted to take a different direction and go beyond, like, what's worse than death. Players are used to death. Players are used to dying and respawning later. But what about being exiled in purgatory? And we're like, oh, okay. So what you're trying to do with this party of interesting, colorful characters is you're trying to get out of exile. You're trying to have what is supposed to be your afterlife. Which is
it's
crazy.
Everything about it. There's noticeably, it seems like there's much less narration going on in the game. Although apparently the guy who did the voice of the narrator in Bastion is in the game at some point as a character somewhere. Mm-hmm. We just don't know when. But it seems like it's a lot more like direct communication with the player and people in your party compared to Bastion, which was, you know, just a narrator.
Yeah, multiple characters too, like instead of just sparse characters here and there.
It was just, you know, the sword. So that's just they're completely changing it. I love that. That's what I love about like you know, devs like them, devs like Cappy Games, which are just like every time they announce a new game, it's like in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Like the only thing you can say that's similar between all of the games that they've done at this point is that they're adventure games, and that's it.
Who are the ones that did Battle Block Theater? They're doing a new one too.
Yeah, Behemoth is doing the game that they actually changed the name of it because they've been working on that for like 3 years now. And they completely changed the name of it, but that looks really exciting. I'm looking forward to that as well. I love Behemoth, man. They're awesome dudes. I got to meet them at the very first PAX East, actually.
Behemoth, for those who don't know, Behemoth are the ones that did Battle Block Theater most recently, Castle Crashers, and Alien Hominid, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Way back in the
and
day.
now they're working on something else that's probably a different genre too.
Such a hardcore game, Alien Hominid.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of hours throwing my controller against my own face while playing that game because brutal beyond belief, and also amazingly cute.
Yep.
All right, well, let's move forward. Like I said, I'll save below we'll talk about that another time. But I guess in the shooter side of things, stepping away from the adventure games, Lawbreakers, which is Boss Key's new arena shooter, and Cliffy B's studio, they showed a bunch of that at PAX, which was pretty fantastic. I think for me as a big shooter guy, I like, you know, what feels like a return to, you know, games that are about like the actual gunplay. Like so many shooters over the last like 5-6 years, like, you know, Battlefield and Call of Duty are all about like giving players like really senseless progression systems while they're playing, which I'm actually going to talk about this week on the channel. But it's like, you know, the idea of like, oh, hey, you know, we figure you're probably going to get bored of our game after 20 hours. So here's like this 100 levels to run through to get this purple weapon skin. You know, like they kind of forget like what makes games really satisfying. And the other big thing about Lawbreakers too is they're doing like a class-based like loadout system. So you have classes on each side. You have the law and the breakers, as it's put. And they each have like a Titan, they each have an assassin, and they have their own appearances, but they use the same weapon on both sides. So like the Titan on the law side will use the same loadout as the Titan on the breaker side. Ooh. But you have like each character has like an ultra ability. They also all have a movement ability. So even though like the heavier characters might move slower, like for example, the one Titan, what the hell was his name? Anyways, the one Titan, I forget his name already, Kronos. What he can do for his movement ability is he can do like a fist jump, but at the same time, there's anti-gravity like segments in the map, and you can fire your weapon backwards, like everyone can. So what the guy was doing when he was playing in the match was they'd get into the center where the capture point was, the battery that they had to capture and take back to the base in this overcharge mode, and they'd fire the rocket launcher or their weapon over their shoulder to propel them through the low gravity zone.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's like such a, it was such an amazing mechanic. Like you just don't get that.
Yeah.
And you could still rocket jump too. So it's like you could rocket jump into the anti-grav zone and then fire backwards. Like obviously you're expending rockets at that point, but you're also taking a very slow moving character and potentially running 50% of the way across this opening where you could be killed. So I don't know. I'm totally into it. It looks absolutely addictively amazing, and I've watched way too many of the PAX like footage like over and over again.
Yeah, I haven't been paying as much attention to PAX as I should have because I've been.
Well, it's hard to because you just want to like hit yourself in the face for like not being there. At least I did, especially being only 6 hours away.
That's part of it. Yeah.
I'm just like, damn it. I want to be there. Everybody's playing these games. Like, so many awesome developers there. I would love to go see, the Behemoth's new game. It was really cool, too. Total Biscuit actually revealed that when they covered Battle Block Theater, the one developer, the lead guy from Behemoth, coined the term co-optional. And then,
yeah. I saw that.
Total Biscuit actually came out and was like, "Oh, by the way, I stole that from you, and it's now my intellectual property because he owns the rights to the co-optional podcast now. It's no longer part of Polaris." And I was like, "That's the best thing ever." And it was funny to see the developer just, obviously super cool about it. But,
yeah.
So moving forward, one last shooter thing. Honestly, if you guys don't even have any interest in Overwatch as a game, you should still go watch this documentary. And if you have any interest in Blizzard as a studio, you should definitely watch this documentary. So GameSpot did a 3-part Overwatch documentary talking about how Titan basically died out and everything that happened at Blizzard during that time, and then how Overwatch came to be. And it's probably one of the most insightful documentaries about Blizzard, which is a studio, I think, in the last 2 years that has really started to show itself as like, hey, there's people who work here. Like, there's always the corporate side of these companies. You have like the publisher side of Blizzard and, Activision. The same goes for anything, but you have to remember at the end of the day, developers they're human beings working in an office together, trying to make cool stuff for people to play.
Yeah.
And that's like a really refreshing documentary. It's 3 parts. I'll have it down in the description below, but it's cool to see like, Blizzard for me, like playing games as I was growing up and playing their games was sort of the developer. And I picture them as this in a lot of ways, is like, like the Titan of developers, like, they can't make anything bad. They can't fail. And they talk about Titan, their like crazy project, like what are we going to do next after WoW, and how it did fail. And they talk about how like it tore apart the studio, and how they sort of recovered, and then boom, here's like Overwatch, which to me is one of the most interesting first-person shooters, that we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
So definitely go check that out because it's awesome.
So it looks like a lot of fun, cool Games Plus stuff that you guys should check out.
Right, and there's like way more that we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like what you should be doing right now, apart from playing everything Fallout 4 related, is going onto YouTube and just typing PAX East and looking for all of the PAX East coverage, because there's some amazing games at PAX East. I saw Jesse Cox cover a typing game. I haven't seen a typing game in a very long time. It's an adventure game where a girl rides in the back of a 3-tailed fox and you type to defeat enemies and obstacles.
Nice.
Which is awesome because there's actually a huge generation of kids coming up now that I think aren't getting typing lessons at school, which I think is ridiculously stupid because we live in the age of typing on a keyboard the proper way. I'm not talking about texting on your phone either. It's very important that you know how to type, in my opinion. It will save you a lot of hard times in school and in life.
Yeah, and that extra long essay you have to write, you could write it like 10 times faster if you learn how to type properly.
Just filing your taxes, man.
That too.
Try filing your taxes only using 1 finger or 2 fingers like most people use. You'll be there all day. There's so much to type in a tax, thing, like on TurboTax. Like, typing is key. So, like, games like that, I really appreciate.
I see what you did there. Typing is key.
I didn't even,
You're on it.
Camel's the king of puns, and I'm just like the guy of accidental puns. I'm his jester. I'm this jester over here. I make accidental puns every now and then. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode, guys. That was a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Obviously, I think Fallout 4 at this point, what's going to be really exciting too is after Far Harbor, hopefully Bethesda it'll probably be like a month, and then maybe they'll be like, hey, here's what else is coming, because we have a whole year of DLC still planned.
Yeah.
On top of all the awesome mod stuff that's going to be launching, it's going to make it really easy to hold yourself over until Far Harbor and then beyond that. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. 2016, the year after Fallout 4 released, and it's still awesomely exciting. That is the beauty of mods, my friends. If you guys have anything to share with us regarding your time with Wasteland Workshop, anything that you'd like to say in terms of mods, if you're somebody who's already dove into the mods over on the creation kit, let us know if there's anything that has already struck you as awesome. Share it with everybody else. Maybe they can go check it out. And any of the the Games Plus stuff we talked about, Pyre, Elder Scrolls Legends, anything you have to say about that, anything you're excited about that you saw at PAX that's going to be coming in the upcoming months, throw it down in the comment section below.
How many cats you have in your settlement?
Oh, it's true too. You gotta see if you can beat out Kato over here. It's gonna be a difficult task. There's gonna have to be like a cat war in Fallout.
Oh jeez.
Cats are gonna rise up and eat all the human beings.
Cats are a target too, by the way, when your settlements get attacked, so keep them guarded.
Really? They go after the cats?
Yeah, there was mongrels that attacked my settlement and almost killed my cats.
Oh, okay, at least the dogs. I was just going to say it's hilarious if the gunners are in there and they're like, prioritize those cats. But sir, there's a guy in T-52 power armor with a minigun. Kill the cats. Yeah.
They won't fire if they're unhappy.
The cats are their leaders, don't you know? Haven't you ever seen any Egyptian text? Kill them first. All right, guys, that does it for this week. Thank you guys for joining us, as always. Episode 22, right? Episode 22 of the PIPCAST is come and gone. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Have a great rest of the week.